Thank you so very much for joining us. And if you are with us, it's still Enterprise Morning with you from Enterprise Television. Let's head straight to our main conversation for today. Interim National Chairman of the African Democratic Congress, ADC, Senator David Mark, has denied claims that the party is backing former Vice President Atiku Abubakar or any particular candidate ahead of the 2027 elections. He emphasized that all members are equal stakeholders and that the ADC aims to present a credible alternative platform for Nigerians. His clarification follows internal criticism and concerns that high-profile aspirants like Atiku Abubakar and Peter Obi and equally Rotimi Amechi could divide the coalition. Meanwhile, the Tinubu administration responded strongly to the growing coalition, with presidential aide Bayo Onanuga accusing opposition figures of plotting to unseat the government despite its reform efforts. At the same time, the ADC witnessed a surge in defection from both the ruling All Progressive Congress APC and the People's Democratic Party PDP in states like Borno, Gombe, Jigawa, and Ondo. Defectors cited dissatisfaction with the current political leadership and worsening economic conditions. In states like Gombe and Ondo, former top politicians and youth leaders expressed confidence in the ADC's vision and structure, calling it a movement driven by accountability and real change. However, PDP leaders pushed back, claiming many reported defections were unverified and reaffirming the party's strength in the southwest. As momentum builds for the ADC, the party continues to position itself as a credible force ahead of 2027. I have Innocent Aduruba still here with me. Thank you so very much, Innocent, for hanging on.
My pleasure to be here.
All right, so let's get into the heat of the moment right now. ADC, APC, both of them looking the same. But of course, when we come to the ballot papers, ADC comes first before the APC. So that's even a very good reason for the APC to get jittery. Because for lots of those who will line up under the rain and in the sun to vote, they might not know the difference, knowing that they see A something and they see at the very end it's just for them to turn print. So let's even start from the jittery nature of the APC just before we get into other matters on the coalition.
I think two things.
Yes.
I've always been one who says that when I watched the Democrats and the Republicans in the build-up to the elections where Donald Trump reemerged the second time, Trump was smeared, blacklisted, disgraced. I didn't see people from his party defected to the Democrats. So, can we have a law that bars defection in Nigeria, especially of elected political office holders? The answer was no. And to the extent of the APC enjoying defectors coming in, they were fine. There was no such cry.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, if you have any coalition or measure, it is old people that would go that way. Harry, you can't find people in their 20s, 25 to 35, or even people me at your age, populating any party. The old guard, old governors, old senators, retired military, who have the wherewithal in Nigeria's political war scene. You need the political war chest. Those are the people you will find there. And they would originally have belonged to another party. That is why this is a new party. It's common knowledge. If there is a coalition, the party that came to coalesce are coming from an old background into this new bucket. So, the same way, I don't know if the brain gets myopic or senile so quickly, so forgetful. What's that? Dementia.
Yeah.
It is in this same format in 2013 the APC emerged as an original new body, predominantly with Action Congress of Nigeria, a faction led by the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and CPC, led by erstwhile President Buhari, and other
parties, a faction of the Abuja
SDP,
and all of that.
in factions.
Yes.
What we have in the ADC today is just a replica of the same thing. And I don't think the APC were greeted with this repugnance. I don't think so. I would now today commend the PDP for being very accommodating at the time. Yes, not everybody sang Hosanna, but it was not this toxic. So if under the APC a coalition is coming and Nigeria practices a system of government that is multi-party, it is to the credit of the APC. The APC should position itself and take the glory. And look at the objective of the ADC. If I'm in the APC, we will render the ADC useless.
How would you have done that?
Oh, we just deliver programs that the masses will like. That's all. It doesn't take a rocket science. People, 100 people crossed from Niger State to Kwara at Patigi and drowned. We will start a bridge there. Henry, you don't need to campaign much. Those people will vote for you. Oh, there is food inflation. You distribute tractors. Publicize it. People are farming. 2027, there will be several harvests of crops. Before that time, Nigerians will witness the bountiful harvest.
But President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has done that. He has brought in 2,000 tractors and other farm implements. So isn't he doing that?
One of the governors. In fact, I'm sorry, it is not in President Tinubu's place to bring tractors. Of course, we run a concurrent system of where both the state and the federal can play on agriculture. The governors own the land that makes up units of the country. They should be farming directly. If the APC fails, the center should blame their governors. Yes, the power devolution is clear. And that's why many presidents of Nigeria fail. I've said that they get petty. The constitution of this country should be trimmed. In Switzerland, the federal government don't have up to 10 items on their table. Defense, currency, custom, international relations, and important priorities. They don't come down to buy tractors. Those are the job of cantons. They call them local government. The federal government, by distributing tractor, congratulations, that's a very good thing to do. Are just carrying out the job of local governments in some countries. So, if the APC is going down, and we have parties with good board, good structures, good policies, you should be talking to your governors. What are you doing? You are the people running microcosms of territories down to the local government. So if I'm the APC, I will not mind the ADC. You are in charge of the government, you are the incumbent. All the country's resources are domiciled with you. Are you managing them effectively? If any government that doles out good management, I used to say it now. How many years ago did we have His Excellency Governor Akinwumi Ambode in Lagos? Akinwumi Ambode, His Excellency, is not contending for any post at the moment. People are still talking about him.
In fact, if he comes up tomorrow, everyone, the whole of Lagos would literally vote for him.
People are still talking about him.
Yeah.
So, long after he is gone, Ambode is remembered by what he has done. To some extent, people still are nostalgic about the years of His Excellency Babatunde Raji Fashola. Yeah. You don't have some of these environmental pollutions in that time. So, the APC should run the ADC out of town with good deliveries. You don't need to pay praise singers and people to help you banter and insult them. That's the worst of political strategy. The more you do that, the more people who have not heard of the ADC hear about them and wonder why you are uncomfortable with this new force.
But at this point, when it is the responsibility of some of the media jobbers of the APC to do some talking, because that is their responsibility, With your knowledge of corporate communication, reputation management and all, what do you think the likes of Bayo Onanuga, Daniel Bwala, Larry, of course, speaking for the FCT minister, what do you think they would or they should be doing now? Of course, we understand, just like you rightly said, the policies of the government should be at the front, making good everything, while the speakers of the government should come and do what they should do. But at the point when the government is not doing what they should do, what should be the responsibility of those speaking for the government?
In Nigeria, aides to the government are denied their discretion. If you are a government aide, it is the government that gives you strategy.
Yes.
If you are in the UK or in the US, if you are a government aide, you are the one that gives the government strategic guidance. So there is a little or nothing Daniel Bwala or Nanuga and co can do rather than receive their fat income. There is little or nothing they can do. Just go to the social media. As soon as you say, oh, the ADC is growing, a lot of people will assault and insult you. And I'm like, if we run a multi-party system, the APC has set the pace. Remember, the ADC are treading a path already trodden by the APC. So the APC came, they saw, they conquered. There is enough space for more coalition parties. Let's watch them. In fact, the ADC are naked. You can see in quotes what we call disgruntled elements. Everybody are running from where they don't have space to where they may have space. Yeah. From where certain expressions are not allowed to where. So you already know what they crave. Deliver it. Because you are still on the seat. You are still the incumbent. You know. So the Onanugas, the Bwalas are restricted. And they have to be careful lest they are not seen to be speaking in support of the other side. But you see, I would think that as we are as a country now, listen to this analysis. Southeast, they don't have an international airport. Northeast, they don't have an international airport. Kanu in 1990 had 20 local government. Kanu today is both Jigawa and Kanu. Kanu, smaller, has 44. Jigawa has about 31 or thereabout. So the 20 local governments of old Kanu is now over 70. Northeast has no international airport. Southeast has no international airport. Kanu has an international airport. Its neighbor, Jigawa, has an international airport. These are political clamors. So if you are from Calabar, you are traveling to Ethiopia, you will come to Lagos 1 hour behind and now fly an extra hour to get to Addis Ababa. The government can look. Oh, and then Calabar is a boundary town. If you go to places like Canada, places like Vancouver are on the Pacific shores. They are fortified. Vancouver is the largest seaport on the Pacific from north to south. They are fortified. Three cities in Canada will co-host next year's World Cup. Vancouver is one of them. You go to like Calabar, you plant an international airport there and fortify your defense base, which I tell you is a key component of a federal task between you and Cameroon. We are on the skirmishes and we know what transpires between us, Bakassi, and all of that. You go to the northeast. If Maiduguri is restive and Damaturu is not far away, you go to Yola. You put an international airport there. That's one. You've scored a point. Those people would like to vote for you for that. Two, today, one truck has fallen in Apapa. Tomorrow, there is congestion there. Some countries in Europe, very rich, Luxembourg, Switzerland, are landlocked. They don't have a single port. Some countries pay for their exports to go through ports. I don't know if Kenya is on the Indian Ocean. I think they have a port in Mombasa.
Yeah, they have a port.
But some countries in the Central Africa pay to use port.
Rwanda.
You know. And even Botswana, I think. I don't know if Botswana have a port at Gaborone. But now, in Nigeria, you just have a large expanse of port. And if somebody, again, from that Calabar, I said, or Port Harcourt, comes to clear their vehicle in Lagos, you will go and buy this fuel that is good and drive back to your city. And you can see the ocean.
Yes, just close to you. There.
So if I were the APC, these are strategies for free. Go to Warri or One or Calabar, wherever, and open a port that runs on equal currencies, equal terms, like Apapa and Tinkan, and make noise about it. This government is expanding the space and options. If you are as busy as that, you don't need spokespeople to malign or attack. Let them grow. Ignore them. Run them. I said, run them out of town. But if you leave them to bicker, Henry, if you don't do the needful, just the way the same APC was able to railroad the PDP out of, then we can say metaphorically that with the ADC, there's a new sheriff in town. And the Bible says, he who thinks he stands firm should be careful lest he falls. And my favorite quote from James Hadley Chase, the vulture is a patient bird. Amos Shalik says, every fortress has its soft underbelly if you know where to look. These defectors know the APC soft underbelly.
Very well. Very well.
They know the PDP soft underbelly. They are congregating as ADC. The APC should worry.
It's actually very, very sad. You know, like we often say in Nigeria, show walk-ins. Our leaders have deliberately refused to show walk-ins. And one would wonder what those that have been here before us will be thinking about, or how they will be rolling in their graves right now. Yesterday, I had to go through a nostalgic video, a very old one, of when Obafemi Awolowo launched. That was in 31st of October 1959, when he launched Western Nigeria Television. Yes, when he launched that.
Western Nigeria.
Western Nigeria Television. Yes, Western Nigerian Television, the first in Africa. I watched how the organization, everybody came, and it was this was the first in Africa. It was built 1959.
And we are still discussing
1959.
We're still discussing
it was built with £250,000 at the time. The best and the first in Africa. And one would wonder, why is it that leaders of today, the Bola Ahmed Tinubus, have deliberately refused to see some of these things and create something today that is the first in Africa?
You know, there is a state called Taraba. Taraba has the longest length of the River Benue with no bridge across that river. It's long and long. You hear different governments promising just a bridge. If I was the APC, I'll go to that town where the foundation has been laid, Ibi, just around out in the Wukari neighborhood, and build it. Look, there is enough time. The APC can redeem itself, and then the APC would have done Nigeria good by retaining ADC as an opposition. Therefore, Nigerians will have option of either the APC or the ADC. The ADC too will grow vibrantly as an opposition party and gear up if they lose 2027 and gear up for 2031. So there will be bubbles in the ruling party camp. There will be bubbles of activity in the opposition camp. I don't know. We don't need oppositions in quotes like PDP that should be sleeping. We need an opposition that is active and the citizens have options. So, look, the APC are in firm control. People complain that this government, the ostentation among the political people is much. They live in islands of opulence surrounded by the masses in oceans of poverty. Lift people out of poverty. What is the interest rate, Henry? What is the interest rate? Almost 40%.
Yes.
You can crash it to single digits.
Well, that is not like a magic wand.
No, it's not.
You can just wipe that away.
It is difficult.
Yes.
It is not impossible.
Well, it takes time.
It's a difficult possibility. And the government has the Bank of Industry, mind you. So you don't need to go to one of the commercial banks. We have the bankers bank in the central bank. So even if you don't move from 30-40% to 9%, there can be an appreciable crash. You know, nobody expects the APC, take it from me, to perform 100%. It's not easy. But at least people can see in the effort the direction of its people-minded policies. Bros, when the election comes, it will be a fight between familiar devils and strange angels. And then people will tell you, the devil you know. APC, I know. ADC, I don't know. But I'm saying, if the APC is going to be responsible for the victory of the ADC. So if the APC allows the lacuna to rift wider and the gulf is unclosable, the ADC will fill the void. And look, the ADC is hot because it's new. In mechanics, you are an engineering student. Yes. Hot air rises. The ADC is destined to rise.
In fact, this is the best opportunity, you know, for those who might be interested in vying for whatever election. This is the best opportunity, especially for the general elections coming 2027, to go key behind the ADC. Who knows the opportunity the Labour Party had when unknown people were voted into office in different houses of assembly, including federal and state, might be that of anyone vying for election right now.
There was an attack from Lekki.
Yeah, Lekki, who just got above Obanikoro. Is it Obanikoro? Yes, a very popular Obanikoro was defeated, and because he lied behind the Labour Party. So if you are one of those interested in vying for election, ADC might be the best opportunity right now. But Innocent, let's get back to those who are doing the media job for different political parties. Sometimes I ask myself, do I at some point think ahead of myself? Because if I am given the opportunity as a communication strategist, if I'm given the opportunity to work for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I would have a caveat. And my caveat would be, I would love to have the attention of the president. Not every time, but at one point or another. And the reason is because I would love to detail to him the reality of things on ground. Now, do you think this is a failure of those who are into communication, of not going about this job, this wonderful job of strategy, implementation and strategy direction? Is it the failure of those who have taken up this responsibility of communication, of not doing good enough job? Providing strategy for those in power?
No.
Or they have been overwhelmed?
No. Overwhelmed can be a factor. I'm in communication, you know. I've been corporate communications manager in about 2 manufacturing firms now. You will communicate to the extent of the slant that is sympathetic to the aspirations of your principal.
Even if you know that might hurt him on the...
No, you sympathetic to his aspirations does not hurt. The thing he craves are what you will do.
But that would hurt him, because that is what has brought President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to the debasing situation he is right now.
Bola up to 1 year old with this?
No, he so just came in and just right after.
They say it's difficult to change to left hand in old age.
In old age.
The party will not change because Daniel Bola joined them.
But Daniel Bola can influence
if the ears that pay him are listening.
So the question is...
the logic is, it is he who pays the piper that dictates the tune.
Can't we reverse that theory or that postulate?
Well, you can give it a try. If Daniel Bola tells his family, the APC has come for me, these are their terms, they will ask him, hope you have accepted. The APC does not come for everybody every day.
But the truth of the matter,
and and you see many eloquent, intelligent, charismatic Nigerians go into these parties and lose their voices. Then when they come out again, there's a miracle of transfiguration. Their voices returned.
Because I would love to make a case of in the Mmebong, former commissioner for information with Akwa Ibom State, and he was given the commissioner for the Akwa Ibom's deep sea port and all. When Governor Omoeno was departing the PDP because he said he wanted to connect to the center, in the Mmebong commissioner said he wasn't going to go with him. His integrity mattered to him more than enough, and I doffed my heart for him, and he would be remembered even more than the governor, right? So the question is, can't we have such a people that would change the narrative, or is it this
let's ask,
face kind of communication that we have?
Still hold his office?
No, he doesn't. He has totally relinquished that for integrity's sake.
So that is the bane of communicators for the government. Do they want to be, what's the word I will use? Insistent, adamant, and lose their position in a country ravaged by hunger? Because Henry, when I call you tomorrow and tell you the APC has hired me, some of the things I'm saying on this table, I will no longer be empowered to say them. But you and I can always meet, take pepper soup. My levels go change. And my mother will ask me, why are you living where they pay you well? So people, a few can stand their ground. Some of the people in the in this media aid position, there is this famous departure as well. That white Nigerian. Ngelale.
Yes.
If he can talk to you in private, it was a good, sound professional.
Yeah, very, very sound.
But if he can talk to you in private, let's say off the record, yes, he may divulge things that he couldn't in public. So, maybe we shouldn't hate the Onanogas much. They are just doing what they can do within the ambit of their space. The alternative is to go the way of a Mmebong and then air yourself freely. This same, I remember I used to watch Patito's Gang. And my favorite character then was Professor Utomi and Dr. Ruben Abati. Ruben Abati has a famous quote in the montage: Nigeria is a big contract. Ruben Abati joined Dr. Ebele
Jonathan.
Yes, and his chorus changed. Ruben Abati is back. Right now, if you ask me, he's a celebrated journalist.
Yes.
Somebody I would like to be like. But that his voice lost. A voice he cultivated on the media farm at The Guardian, sitting apex the editorial desk, has returned and sharper. So that employment is a lead, it's a barrier, it's a restriction. Sometimes, having criticized Onanuga or Bwala and the whoever's, I would realize that, well, they are just doing their job, albeit in a partisan capacity. So this is from where we took off. The APC should size up the ADC with that strategic lens. It is oppositions that open the crack that becomes a door. It is incumbents that opens cracks that becomes doors. It is the cracks, weaknesses of Joe Biden that threw up Donald Trump.
Yeah, very true.
It is the cracks, weaknesses of Dr. Ebele Goodluck Jonathan that brought capitulation for the PDP.
Because if he had refused to go in for the second term, the PDP possibly would have still been in power.
So it is the APC, their cracks, that will open the gates for the ADC. And look, let me be quick to round up. Yes. You hear, David Mark was this. Atiku was this. We don't need that. Why didn't you tell us long ago? Why are you telling us now that? You see, so these are the tactics that I think the smear campaign, people are alive and wise to it. Look, the APC, sometimes silence is lethal. Silence is lethal. Yeah. Ignore them. You know what the people crave. I just mentioned a bridge at Patigi where people drowned. You are President Tinubu. If I am President Tinubu, one thing I will do now is to arrest insecurity. There are many people in IDP camps whose children are writing WAEC, they were born there. Send them back to where they belong. Manage things. It's not easy. It's not doable overnight. Be seen to be involved. The number of days in that tiny St. Lucia is I mean, you know. So the government should reduce the what should I call it? Places that are exposing them to criticism. Just reduce them, because 2027's complexion has changed. The race has changed.
Yes.
Where the APC to just be bordering with the PDP alone and a fractured Labour Party. The president has waved them away.
Definitely.
James Hadley Chase has a book, Miss Shumway Waves the Wand. So the president has waved the wand dismissively. He has told you they are drowning, and then what did he say?
Ship. Wipe them clean.
Wipe them clean.
Yes.
But this ADC, the race has changed.
Yeah, because
I don't know if the ADC will win, but I think you cannot just ignore the ADC.
Because the truth of the matter is the scaffolds that built the APC are with the ADC right now. And one would ask, is it ever possible that they might not do little damage, you know, at the end of the day? But of course, the truth of the matter still remains, like we often say right here. Everything happening today in Nigeria is very avoidable. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu had more than enough opportunity to get things working. Even if Nigerians still doubted if he won the 2023 general elections, he had the opportunity to redeem that. He had the opportunity to make good. He
still has. He still has. And I dare say, in the days ahead, Henry, there will be gigantic defections into the ADC.
From the APC?
Yes. The party is still building. The party is still building. So, people, we don't know the destinations yet. Was Bukola Saraki there?
No, he hasn't.
What of Dogara?
Dogara hasn't done, but of course, like they have employed the technique, the political new technique from Nyesom Wike, they will still be part of their former party and work for the new party. So
look, there are heavyweights in regions. Everybody cannot just be centrally relevant. If you can deliver your word, you are a force. And if the ADC gets to you before the APC, au revoir.
All right, and that's just about the time we have. And to those who are in the communication department, because that is where we find ourselves, I think this is a moral lesson for everyone's and every single one of us, that the job that we hold right now as communication experts might not last forever, but what people would remember, what were you able to do with it when you had the opportunity? I used to idolize Femi Adesina, you know, before
the editor of
the Nations and all that, until when he became part of the Buhari government and did all sorts of things. And
he just served. He served his government.
He served, but of course the question is, he is no longer relevant right now. People don't even care. You don't even see him around again. You don't see him say anything. In fact, anything he does right now on social media come with a backlog of insults that he had deliberately refused to say anything any longer. You understand? And the quick question is, of what good then is it? We used to have, in 1997, Daniel Kanu, who was the man in charge of youth earnestly asked for Abuja.
1 million man march.
Yes, 1 million man march. Where is Daniel Kanu? We don't even know where he is right now. So this is an open call, a clarion call for those in the communication department, the Bayo Onanugas, the Daniel Bwalas, the Reno Omokris, and other people, that what you have right now is a job. Life continues after that. And the question is, how have you lived that life? Do you see that as an opportunity to make good and make restoration for the future? That is the catch question, and that is my time for today. Thank you so very much, Innocent Antoluba.
Well, it's always my pleasure to be
appreciate
here.
you. Awesome discussion today, and I would love to believe you equally enjoyed our stay. Please do well to visit us if you may. You can always reach us when you visit us at enterprisetvnews.com. You may equally like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV7. I am Henry Igwebike. Thank you for watching. Have yourself a splendid day. Stay safe. God bless Nigeria. Bye-bye.